Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 4 Japanese Grand Prix. I am F1 Union, your main commentator for today, and we have got 11 drivers currently in the lobby. We should be expecting, I think, 12 or 13. We did have 12 just a second ago, but I think someone just left. Final preparations, yeah, someone's just grabbing a setup. Welcome along. Obviously, it is the penultimate round of the season. It has gone right down to the wire in the drivers. The constructors has already been wrapped up by Aston Martin, by Joshua Hewitt and Joseph Parcel, and now both titles will be claimed by Aston Martin, but the real question is, which driver is going to take the crown? BCFC Josh has an 8-point lead ahead of EXFL Jim Bob heading into today, and that's not his only advantage. Jim Bob does have a qualifying ban. After accumulating 5 incident points, he will have to select his setup at the start of qualifying, head out and pull off safely and let the game disqualify him so he starts last on the grid. And at the moment that's looking like P12 as soon as Jack gets back into the lobby. Which he does right there. Crew is making his debut today. Good to see. I think he'll be in the McLaren. Watch client in the Haas. That reminds me. Some big news has been said in the past week. The times are changing for Tier 1 and Tier 2 next season. Tier 1 will be going from 10 past 3 to now, 7 PM Friday, and Tier 2 will be going from 7 PM Friday to 7 PM Thursday. So, due to those times, everyone in Tier 2 can still make the new times, but for Tier 1, we are losing 5 drivers, plus the new double world champion of TB, so all collectively 6 drivers are leaving. So 6 drivers from Tier 2 will be being promoted, and that will be Watch Client, Chicken Rosary, and Midgeman, who aren't racing today, Sasha McMillan, EXFL Jim Bob, and BCFC Josh. So, as the clock goes to 7 o'clock, we can ready up. And I will just make sure to get the stream to them in the chat. Thanks all for tuning in. I've heard some people have been telling some of the drivers have been telling their mates about it. So shout out to I think Josh told a few of his friends, because obviously this is the first round where BCFC Josh can win the World Championship. Obviously in any normal championship, the second last race will be the first opportunity at the very minimal. So the fact it has gone down to the penultimate round is great to see. It's the closest EXFL battle for the Tier 2 title we have seen yet so far. And as I send the chat link in, we can begin qualifying. Right, just wishing everyone good luck. And session will start, I think now. Sunny conditions for qualifying. So I think without Midgeman or Chicken Rosary racing today, I find it hard to believe the top 3 are going to be anything but BCFC Josh, Sasha and Watch Client. But the battle for which order is still a mystery. There have been theories. If Josh and Sasha are on the front row, we might get a 1990 with Prost and Senna. Joe has come from the back of the grid before. In Singapore, he was down in plumb last after being spun at turn 2, and he managed to win the race. Well, he's starting in P12 today. As soon as he picks his setup up, he will be pulling off track, probably at turn 1, and disqualifying himself. But first driver out now is Arsenal, heading out onto the grid, and I think followed by him is the Aston Martin, or the Williams, actually, of James. And followed behind him, yes, is the Aston Martin Jim Bob. So yep, pulling off just here, serving his qualifying ban after accumulating 5 incident points, which is the rules, as we got Sasha and Josh both on the medium tyres. And yeah, Joe's just going to have to sit for a while, about 17 minutes, and watch the rest of them get their laps in. It's hard, but obviously, yeah. That's P12 and his qualifying sorted. No one is going to be impeded by his AI. So, very well done, Joe. I'm Wild Matt, 3rd driver on the mediums as he heads out the pit lane just in front of, I think, BCFC Josh, the World Championship leader. A lot of pressure, but also quite a few advantages for him. If he finishes ahead of Joe, I think that's already one hand on the title. With an 8-point gap and being already in front of him on the grid, it's looking good as he's just battling away with Amwal Matt. So, Japan, not liked much throughout the EXFL community, with especially these corners, the S's, as Matt gets out the way now. But we'll see who can conquer, as James really hasn't conquered the exit of 130R there. But he will be the first driver to start a lap around this 8-bit kind of circuit where it overlaps, only circuit to do that until we head to Miami next season. But yeah, James heading into turn 1, 8 oval lap, that's it. Heading into turn 1, clips the curb very nicely indeed, and turn 2, keeping it clean. It is probably just a banker. They do want to set at least just a solid lap time, enough to get a representative time on the board. 15.5 minutes remaining, and James is showing what should be done in taking good precautions for sector 1. As he ends it, what's the time? 32.6. Right, so we'll see what other drivers are doing. I think watch client now. Oh, he's invalidated. Okay, and we've got a yellow. Yeah, it's Arsenal, and he's got a McLaren behind of Carbro. So it's a 33.3. So I think that's 7 tenths down on what. Who was it again? James. Yeah, of course, James. Right. So now heading to the end of sector 2. Looks like he's a bit out of shape, heading through Spoon Curve, making sure not to invalidate there. That's one of the hardest parts of the circuit to get right. We've got a yellow. I think that's just a McLaren getting out the way of Carbro, because everyone's out on track apart from Crudaves. But he heads through 130R now, a 13.212, and this time he's got the exit right. So he's just got 2 more corners left, 3 if you include the swoop down, as he obliterates those 2 bollards. So we know we won't see them in qualifying anymore. But he crosses the line now as he just runs out of EOS at the end. It's a 1 minute 30 flat. That is a pretty solid representative time for now. Arsenal, who is still on a lap, will come across the line. This will be quite a few seconds off, but he'll obviously go again. 1:35.0, so pretty much, yeah, 5 seconds. Now the Ferrari of Sasha McMillan coming across the line. It's a 1 minute 31.0, a full second off from what James can do. Watch client will be going again after, I think, making a mistake. So he's going to have to hope for no one in his way. Now Smithy goes across the line. P4, he will be going again as well. And Carbro, he's invalidated. So what about Tigo Biter? Doesn't look too bad. Yep, final few corners, making sure not to invalidate, keeping it clean, keeping it smooth. Comes across the line now. It's a 1 minute 30 to beat, 1 minute 30.5. So he splits Sasha McMillan and James. And now Warren coming across the line, but he's invalidated. So the second Haas, Matt, the second medium runner, has gone into the pit lane. So what about the championship leader, BCFC Josh? He's way off. Don't know what he's done there, but yep, he'll be going again. 1:43.7. But it's at least a time on the board, so he's definitely ahead of Jim Bob, no matter what. Warren invalidated. Watch client going again. And the final 3, the bottom 3 in the pit. Says watch client has lost it. Good controlled slide, but yeah, he will go again. That's those soft tyres. Properly washed. James heads into the pits. Tigo's had a trip into the gravel. As Smithy, what's happened to Smithy? Yeah, Smithy has had. So it seems like Spoon Curve is catching a few of these drivers out. Josh is going again, purple first sector. So, championship leader, 8 points as he passes. I think that's Warren. It is 8-point gap. It's the most anticipated ending to a season we've seen in a while. Obviously, the closest one was season 2. Where it was 9 points heading into the final round. However, it was lackluster due to one of the 2 title protagonists not racing, which allowed only one of them, only needing P5, which he certainly got. So, BCFC Josh and Jim Bob will 100% not be missing out on today or next week's finale. But where can Josh put that Aston Martin? Pole position is probably the best position to start in. However, P2 does have the inside line as he comes across the line now, and it is P2. So he's exactly 2 tenths off, but he's 3 tenths clear of Sasha McMillan on the same tyre compound, as Sasha's not going again. So I feel with the EXFL Gym Bob further down in the back, overtaking here is tricky. I'm sure he can make his way up the field, but if he can't, then we could be seeing a surprise podium today. Your obvious guesses are BCFC Josh, Sasa M206 and Watch Client 83, but what about the rest of them? And while Matt and James seem in contention, maybe Carbro, he wants a top 5 finish, he said in the chat. Arsenal, maybe even Smithy gets his first podium, best career finish is P4 so far. Warren, can he get more points to add to his tally before he starts making consistent races next season, he told me, which is going to be great to see. What about Tigo Baita, who's looked promising at some times as we got the championship leader. So is the pressure getting to him? Don't know. We've got 10 minutes a lap. Well, who's on one? Oh, Watch Client. Good controlled. Well, it was good to keep it out of the barriers. But yeah, that's another spin. We're seeing a lot of spins, so no safety car last week. I will be very surprised if we don't get one this week. So that's Arsenal. Yep. Got to make sure. I don't think you can bin it, like get beached on a curb like we saw in Italy, but hopefully not. But yeah, that corner as well. Apologies, I've forgotten the name, but that corner and spoon curve. So pretty much sector 2, as is the S sections at sector 1. Only sector 3 is really the one that I guess some tier 2 drivers can appreciate, because it's really just a straight, a corner, and then a little chicane. But yeah, he's got one of the McLarens behind him, Carbro, on an invalidated lap, so he's not holding him up. Escudavez has lost it into turn 1. He's going to wait for the Ferrari, even though he's ghosted. Good from him. So now we have 7, so someone did put a time on the board. I think it was Warren. It was Warren. 30. Oh, Warren. Speaking of him, that's off at end of sector 1. But P5 for Warren at the moment. If he can keep it on, he's got the Ferrari behind, but he's on an outlap. What about the McLarens? Escudavez on an outlap. Yep, that was spin. Right, so Carbro, he's on the lap, heading through the S section now. It is a very tricky section to get correct. We've got a few. Oh, that's going to be a bit wide, but yep, seems good. They've been doing 32s, I think, for sector 1. It's a 32.9, so it's in there. As that's invalid. Yep, we saw that right on the get-go, and yep, that's his lap ruined. 8 minutes left, and James is on provisional pole. However, BCFC Josh and Sasha McMillan. Oh, I love this angle. That is a great angle. The top 2 estimated are on the soft compound tyre now, as Josh and Sasha begin their qualifying laps. Proper qualifying laps this time on the soft compound tyre. All EXFL Gym Bob can do is just watch and wait. I'm just going to check the chat just before Sasha starts his lap. About 8 minutes, Joe, is how much is left in quali. Right, that's done. As we have a look on board, but not really on board, off board, but looking at the on board of Sasha McMillan heading into turn 1. This is a great camera angle, and let's hope he stays within the limits of the chat. So this lap looks great, and it looks like he's mastered turn 1 and 2 perfectly there. Through the S section now, riding on board with him properly now, and he's going to have to absolutely take all the limit. He does not care. He can take every single risk he can, because he's out of the championship battle now. So he can take it flat out, right on the limit, and he's going to finish sector 1 now, and this is probably a 32.9. So it's as Arsenal's out, he's crashed. Riding on board with Warren, we'll see. Has he just straight lined, or? Yeah, I think he's just straight. What's Warren doing? Oh. So Warren gets out the way of Smithy, I'm guessing. So who's gone up to P5? We might have got caught out a bit from Warren going wide there, but he was trying to get out of the way. But even in front of them, Sasha McMillan continuing on through spoon curve. He will hopefully try and get a better sector 2, as that was very similar to, I think, Carbro, a 32.9. So he's trying to find pace. What about Josh? He's coming to the end of sector 1, so we'll just quickly watch what Josh has done. Yep, he's got sector 1 pretty much nailed. Finishing sector 1, it's a 32.4, half a second quicker. So Sasha McMillan has completed 130R, and now he's just got the chicane left, and now he's just got the downhill section as he has to take the narrowest line towards the line. He doesn't take it, but across the line, a 1 minute 30.257. He hasn't beaten the championship leader even on the mediums. Josh said he was good at this track. Josh said this was his best track, and he's really showing it. And Crew de Vase goes up to P4 on the mediums. Could Crew de Vase now potentially be one of the hot topics for the podium? That is a very good lap time from Crew de Vase. And could he be showing us Carbro P2? It's very close to James's provisional pole. But now we watch Josh a 12.5. Got to keep that in mind. So this will obviously be pole position unless he messes up here, but he won't. Right on the limit towards, and now yes, he does take the narrowest line as I was talking about. Across the line, it's a 29. We're into the 29s, and by nearly 0.6 of a second, BCFC Josh is on pole position. EXFL Jim Bob will not like that. So everyone has set a lap time apart from the two Hassers who, remember, started on the 8th and back row of the grid last week in Abu Dhabi and managed to finish 4th and 5th in their amazing efforts and strategy. So watch Klein, after making those mistakes, no lap time on the board yet. Amor Matt went out on the mediums, but looks like the softs will have to be what he chooses now. 5 minutes left in the session. It's BCFC Josh just taking an out lap. James already invalidated. Carbro, no. Sasha McMillan, nope. So Crew de Vase probably coming into the pits. That is a really good lap time for him. Tigabaya, P6 as he loses the rear. Is that into the barriers? Yes, but he's somehow kept it out. He's got a bit of right front wing damage, but he's luckily kept all 4 wheels on his wagon. It's Warren now. Drives by, not on a lap luckily, so no one being held up. I don't think anyone is on a lap at the moment. Just going to check the chat. Yep, watch client struggling. We've got about 5 minutes remaining in this, 4 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. And we're getting ready for the final runs. Most of them are in the pits. As the championship leader now rolls in. Right, so is James going to head into the pits as well to get on his final set of softs and potentially battle for pole position, because he's still up there. He's in P2. But no, he's actually going to stay out. So this might be his final run, because I don't know if he can do a lap, then do another out lap and then head in. Nah, he's definitely not going to have time. So this will be it, and that is definitely not it for James. Too much, way too early when turning in. So he will head into the pits and hopefully he'll have time to get out again, because there's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. This really isn't ideal for James. He really shouldn't have started another lap if he was going to do that, but yeah, I don't think he'll make it to the line unless he has enough fuel to go again. That's his only option, but he's really using a lot of grass. There's the two McLarens, P3 and P5. We haven't seen McLaren up for a while in Tier 2, but they are looking good. Obviously Jaden Francis isn't racing today, so Crew de Vase, the reserve, is taking his place, and after that performance in P5 on the mediums, he's looking for a solid seat next season. He's already wowed me with that. So it is quite close, at least between the top 6, between 2 and 6, half a second. 12 thousandths between Crew de Vase and Tigo Baita, who's in the pit lane, as we have one of the Hassers. Right, watch Client. Is this his final run? If it is, then it needs to be good. So, turn 1 and 2, done. Now the S section where he's been struggling. We're going to ride on board. Hopefully, he will be at least a bit lenient to at least try and get a lap time on the board. That's already a mistake, so that's very, very wide from him. It might put him ahead of Arsenal, who crashed out. But as he ends sector 1 and he's on the grass a bit, he's trying to keep it facing forward. It's a 33.6. It's off the pace and he's not invalidated because he let go of the throttle a bit. But he's just trying to hassle that car around the track of Suzuka. And at the moment it's not looking like the greatest lap, but it could still probably get him ahead of Arsenal. So as he heads towards Spoon Curve now, we've got a yellow. I think that's James. Also, James did try to go again. He had enough fuel to go again, but he's binned it at the S section. So that is qualifying over for James, Because, yeah, he definitely... well, he has a minute and a half, which is pretty much a lap time to cross the line. But those tyres are done, and I'm really not sure he would want to start on those. Right, BCFC Josh on his outlap, getting out of the way of, I think, one of the Hassers. Yeah, watch client. So let's watch his lap. If he has enough fuel, he will go again, but his ERS will say otherwise. So this will be it probably for watch client across the line. It's a 31-3. He beats Warren. So he goes up to P8. James is out of it. So, Carbro, he's found a little bit of time. Cruder Bays on the soft compound tyre. Could he wow us with a potential front row start? What about Sasha McMillan? He's on a lap time, and he's got the yellows in front of him. So, as it stands, I'm on Matt. Here we go. The final lap times are coming. Across the line now for one more Matt. It's P4. He splits Scarborough and Sasha McMillan. Next up is Crudervays. Here we go. I'm very excited to see this. He'll probably dip into the 129s. But is it enough for pole position? But is it enough for the front row? It is. It's a 29.6. That's so close to Josh, actually. Within 2 tenths. Across the line, Tico Biter. He goes P7. So what about his teammate? Carbro, can he make it? Onto the second row of the grid, it's P3. He's nearly beaten his teammate. That's brilliant for McLaren. So across the line now is Sasha McMillan. He's going to have to find 6 tenths to try and get on the front row. Across the line, third in the championship, it's only P5 for Sasha McMillan. And Warren goes P10. Sasha, who we thought would be on the front row with Josh, is not even going to be on the second row. It's P5 for the Ferrari. And Josh, not finding time, a tenth and a half down. But I don't think he needs to, unless someone's really on a surprise. Carbro, I thought Carbro was going again. Right, is Sasha McMillan going again? Well, watch as Josh is coming across the line, and I think that's enough for him. He won't improve. No, that's it. That's provisional pole for Josh, but you never know. That is it for Crudervays. I think that's it for Carbro. Sasha McMillan, is he going again? He is going again. That is a good first sector. A 32.6. So it is not over until it's over. Sasha McMillan, who I thought was going to be 5th, is going again. His ERS is probably the only thing that's going to upset him, as is his tyre wear. But he doesn't care. After being disqualified here last season from a potential victory, right here where the safety car messed his race up, he's now going to come through 130R, giving it absolutely everything. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him of the McLarens, but hopefully they will get out the way. He's half a second up. That is enough for the front row. Can he find some time? Can he use the inside line heading into the downhill section of the final bit of this lap? He's gonna hold it round the outside, but across the line, P2 for Sasha McMillan. It's not quite enough for pole, but it is the front row, like we predicted. It's Josh on pole, Sasha second, and all McLaren second row. Brilliant to see for them. James P5, I'm a wild Matt going to P6 at the end. Seago P7, Smith P8, Watch Client P9, Warren P10, and Arsenal and Jim Bob will be on the 6th row at the back. So, it's another pole for the championship leader. It's the perfect scenario for him. Pole position. His main title rival and teammate is starting at the back of the grid. We're going to have to see the comeback of dreams for Jim Bob, but it's looking good for Josh at the moment. $72 thousandths. We thought that would be it for Sasha. He managed to, if he did that on a full bar of like a full 100% ERS, who knows? Maybe he could have got pole position, but he went again. And at the depths of it, he managed to find a lot of time. That is a good qualifying. That is reassuring to know that Joshua Hewitt won't just run away with it. That is very reassuring to see. However, the theory is getting ever closer to reality because obviously people are predicting we're going to see a 1990 where Sasha and Josh are going to come together at turn 1. Hopefully not. However, it would be amazing if they did, like in terms of Murray Walker's line. But we'll see. So, as the hands of time progress evermore, we come to Chapter 17 of the EXFL Tier 2 Season 4 World Drivers' Championship, with both Joshua Hewitt and Joseph Parcel to be the writers of their own story. We have reached the penultimate race in the land of Japan, it's Suzuka, with Joseph Parcel having a qualifying ban and starting last, while his title rival as well as teammate starts at the front. Alongside him is Sasha McMillan, and we will see what tyres they've chosen, because that will be a crucial aspect in this race. And obviously, but what has Joe Parcel gone for? Okay, they're all on softs, so it's maximum attack with the Aston Martin at the back. He's got a clear Arsenal, Warren, Watch Client, Tigo, Unwild Matt, James, Carbro, Gruda Vase, who's hit the back of Sasha! So, I'm guessing... Yep, we caught that. So, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, considering it's only surface only. Not surface and carcass, but... I don't know, we'll see. I don't really want to read the chat because of that, but now it'll be Josh ahead of Carbro. If we get rid of that, right. Watch out for penalties, I'd also say. If we get an end of race, if we get a classic end of race safety car, the one who has the least amount of penalties will benefit hugely. And it usually is Sasha McMillan, Joshua Hewitt or Joseph Parcel. However, it is very interesting today to see what's going to happen. To see if Jim Bob can make his way through the field. To see if Josh can hold off the lead from Sasha McMillan. Who's going to get the better start? It's all going to be down to that, I think. At least for the start. Sasha was telling me in DMs about how it could happen. How he obviously doesn't want to take anyone out because he's not that sort of driver. But 2 weeks in a row, lap 28, he's been winning the race. He's had to come in together with the person in last at the moment. Hopefully third time's the charm, and that will not happen, even if they see each other on track today. But Sasha McMillan, robbed of victory here last season, robbed of the last 2 victories. Can he make it happen this time? It hasn't been the ideal formation lap after being hit at the back by Gruda Vase. We caught that, but it is what it is. Not 28 laps this time. We have 27 laps as Tigo. Tigo wants to get on with this, as Warren is now disqualified with Arsenal. So Tigo's going to want to be first on the grid. But yes, right. We're going to have 27 laps. 27 laps closer to the end of the World Championship of Tier 2 Season 4. We will have 36 laps in Brazil. We have 27 laps here. We have 63 laps remaining of this championship. And number 32... yeah, 32. I thought it... yeah, never mind. Right, there's the strategy real quick. But number 32 gets into his grid slot. Obviously, next season will probably be manual. So that's going to be all interesting. But we're going to focus on the final F1 season, on 2021. It's the Japanese Grand Prix. We have 5 lights ahead of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go. PCFC Josh does get away well, but Sasha McMillan is already alongside and Sasha McMillan gets ahead. He's into the lead, but we've got 3 wide further at the back. Crusade Vase stays ahead, but he's got Wild Matt alongside. James has managed to get Carbro as Jim Bob! No, Jim Bob's already been spun round. And with Arsenal and Warren battling, and James is now out of it as well. Well, he's been into the barriers as Carbro, further up ahead, gets back into P4. It is a dream start for Sasha McMillan, but Joshua Hewitt's coming back at him. He's trying to go round the outside, but he's going to have to stay behind for now. He's trying to switch back. He does not need to take these risks, and you can see it. He's got everything to lose, but it has been a horrendous start for EXFL Jim Bob. He's been spun. So it's P11, he still made a place. James doesn't have a front wing. It was obviously expected carnage at the start. And Jim Bob has got caught up in it, unfortunately. So I don't think he has damage. So now it's really a case of damage limitation. However, Josh is now under pressure from Gruda Vase, who was tangling with Unwild Matt. But it looks like he's managed to clear him because he's up in a P3 and he's right behind him. So as they head through 130R for the first time now, Gruda Vase as Josh Hewitt is now trying to look round the outside of Sasha McMillan. They've made contact, but at the moment they stay how they are, as that's a warning for Crew de Vase, definitely. Crew de Vase wasting no time whatsoever. Sasha McMillan has a 4/10 advantage. The Crew de Vase is right behind BCFC Josh, but he can't quite have a move just yet down into turn 1. That's a mistake from Sasha McMillan. He's gone a bit wide. He covers Josh off, and Crew de Vase right behind the Aston Martin now. He's going to be looking at that gearbox. Josh! He's into the wall! That's a big moment! Crew de Vase has hit Josh, and he's gone into the barriers. He's still in this race. He's lost his front wing. There goes his main title rival. BCFC Josh in the wall. All the advantage. It's gone now. The biggest smile in Suzuka's watched clients out of it. Is that a safety car now? It is a VSC, so it will help Josh a bit. But the biggest smile in Suzuka now is going to be in EXFL Jim Bob's helmet, because BCFC Josh got tagged by Crew de Vase as a penalty for Warren. 3 seconds, so that's just a normal corner cut penalty. James on the mediums. Big moment once again, and I'm saying this as nicely as I can. It's not between them. That is a genuine big moment in the championship, because the two Aston Martins, if you told me by lap 2 Jim Bob would be ahead of Josh, surely something would happen to Josh, and it has. Crew de Vase on his debut, after showing immense speed to get onto the second row of the grid, he's hit the back of Josh because he was all over the back of him. He was really trying to push him, and he just got too much acceleration out of the S's, and that is a horrible start to the race for the championship leader, and it's a crucial moment. It's probably the most crucial moment, because he's going to lose so much time. If we do not have another safety car in this race, I do not know how Josh is going to come back from this. He's going to lose so much time. He's going to be plumb last, I think, if James doesn't get past him. So, a bit more spread out here, but Crew de Vase is actually still trying to look for the victory. He might get a penalty for doing what he did to Josh. He did hit the back of him. He did send him into the wall. I am so surprised Josh did not lose his wheel or anything, but I'm also very happy that he's still in this race, so the title fight is still well and truly on. Can you believe it? The two championship contenders are P9 and P10. That reminds me of something. Season 1 moment. But Crew de Vase, 3/10 behind Sasha McMillan. If Sasha saw what he did to Josh, he will be a bit nervous. Behind that McLaren, who, look how much he's braking later, as DRS is activated on this lap. I did tell him before the race, Crew de Vase, to have fun. It's his first race. I didn't mean like that. However, he's going for it in 130R, but he's going to back off. He does have some sense for it here, but Sasha McMillan, they're slowing down a bit. They both want DRS, and Sasha McMillan is not going to get it, but he's got the better exit. That's another warning. Surely Crew de Vase will get penalties soon then. That's, oh my lord, Sasha McMillan almost took himself out there. But as for the lead of the race, he's given his 2 defensive moves, but now into turn 1, Crew de Vase takes the lead of the race. He goes a bit wide. Sasha McMillan will head back alongside him. They're still wheel to wheel. Sasha McMillan, he'll have to back off for now, but it's the lead of the race on his debut for Crew de Vase. That was a good move though. Even if he went a bit wide, it's the lead of the race. McLaren first and third. We haven't seen this since TB back in season 1 of Tier 2, where McLaren were up at the top. They've usually been midfield or at the back of the grid for a lot of this season. So it's good to see them at the front. Carbro really coming into his own as well after missing a few races. It's looking good for him as well. So James sets the fastest lap. Yeah, but he's behind BCFC Josh. So these two, both with work to do. Both praying and hoping for a safety car. As Jim Bob on the move now. The charge has begun because he's already got Arsenal round the outside of the Red Bull. And he's now up into P8. So if they were to finish like this, it would be 4 points for Jim Bob, 1 point for Josh. Josh would head into the final race with a 5-point lead at the moment. But if Jim Bob gains 2 more tenths, then it would be a 3-point lead. And he's done just that, because he's now within 3 seconds of Warren. Well, just about. Actually, he's a bit out of it now. So, looking further back. McLaren versus Ferrari reminds me a bit of Italy in real life last year. Already lost my voice and it's only lap 5. Here comes Sasha McMillan again, not quite close enough to the McLaren. He's taking a very wide exit and getting the better run heading into turn 3. So he'll stay ahead of him for now. Carberry lacking 2 seconds behind. Tigo Bio up to P4. Unwild Matt pretty spaced out, having to deal with Smithy behind, who's going a bit wide. Warren 2 seconds behind. Jim Bob already gained 8/10, so Chargers on 31 seconds now to Josh to Arsenal. So I don't know, maybe I don't know how much time he gains per lap. Right, we'll set a marker for lap 5. The gap is 30.4 seconds as he set the fastest lap of the race. 30.4, we'll see what it is at the end of lap 6. But the closest battle is still Sasha McMillan versus Crew de Vase. Oh, that is such a big moment we have just witnessed with Josh. He's got his mates watching. I think he's told a few people to tune in today, and that's happened. So, not really his fault. It really isn't his fault. But I guess these things happen. We've seen it on the last lap. As what's happened with Warren and Smithy? What's happened with Smithy? More like that's one more position for Jim Bob. Smithy's lost it at Spoon. No damage. It looks like it's just a spin for the AlphaTauri. So now we can't really calculate what the gap is going to be. Did Josh have a moment there? Because I swear the gap was 30 seconds. How is it 35 now? Huh, strange. As sorry, for the lead of the race, Sasha McMillan has got back ahead of Cruz Vase. Sorry about that. As we looked at the onboard, offboard kind of new camera angle, that is really cool. But yeah, Sasha McMillan retakes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix on lap 6. And Sasha McMillan has spun! He's spun off the curb and he's taken Crew de Vase with him! Carbro leads! Sasha McMillan! He spun off the curb and he's taken Crew de Vase with him. And here's Jim Bob! Oh no. Jim Bob hits the back of Crew de Vase because he's got damage. I don't think that'll be too much damage for Jim Bob. Oh no, here we go. Jim Bob behind Sasha. Sasha McMillan has made a big mistake. He turned into the curb on the white line. He spun and collected Crew de Vase. And this is going to help Josh a bit, but not much. This is really helping Jim Bob. 8 points to Josh's 1. If it finished like this, I think they'd be level or 1 point between them. I don't know which, but we'll figure it out at the end of the race. No damage for Sasha McMillan, I don't think. Damage for Crew de Vase on his debut as he runs wide. He lets Arsenal through. We're going to look further back though. This is concerning. We want to see battles, but this battle, after the past 2 races, we do not want to see it much. Chaos and carnage in the first 7 laps of this race. Sasha McMillan's got some work to do. They've all got work to do. The top 3 in the standings. As he's already behind Warren. Warren already used all his ERS. He's going to pull to the inside, but he actually hits Sasha McMillan there. And Sasha McMillan gets the move done. So now, Jim Bob's going to have to try and get Warren. He's going to have to stay behind him in the S's. And just be really conservative, as that's a mistake from Warren. But he's losing time, is Jim Bob. So Crew de Vase in the pit lane. I think Josh may be able to get out ahead of him. Yes, he will definitely. So that's P9 for the Aston Martin. So, Warren, where can Jim Bob try and overtake the Mercedes? As amazingly, Carbro, Tigo Vita and Wild Matt make up your podium so far. What is this race? I did say it's the battle for the podium is going to be very interesting. This is pretty much the battle for the win at the moment. Tigo Vita, 1.3 behind Carbro. As here we go. Closest battle at the moment. Jim Bob has to try and get past Warren without getting damage or anything like that. It's damage limitation, but as he puts the RS on, heading up to 130R, Warren is also using it, so Jim Bob will stay behind for now. It is difficult when you're at the top of the tier fighting drivers who are around the mid section of it. It is very nerve-wracking. So he's going to have to try and get him here as Carbro's into the pits, and so is Wild Matt. So, is this Jim Bob's time? As he's out of ERS, and once again Warren riding on board with the Aston Martin. He pulls off. Warren tries to go defensive. He leaves just enough room, and that is the move. well and truly done for Jim Bob. So good move from him as he loses the rear just a bit. Warren's going to send it up the inside, but can't quite do it. So that is P3 for Jim Bob, P2 for Sasha McMillan, and at the moment T2S4 are leading. So Smithy and Carbro and Amawal Matt pitted. Carbro and Amawal Matt pitted. Carbro went for the hards, so he looks like he's going to the end. It did come up on the tyre graphic. You can rather pit for mediums or hards, as Callum's in AI once again for the second race in a row. And around this track, it's even more dangerous. Hopefully he doesn't get in Smithy's way too much, but it's holding him up a bit. As Crudevez gets past James, he runs wide. So the battle for P11, as we only have 11 runners left. That looks truly done and dusted. So 7 seconds to Josh as he has a penalty. I'm guessing that was, corner cutting. We captured like a few of those warnings from him. But Arsenal and Smithy battling. His AI coming back at him. This is helping Carbro catch up to the back of him. 1.3 between Jim Bob and Sasha. 5 seconds between the top two. That's probably a warning for Smithy. This is going to be angering him. It's going to be hurting his tyres. And he's going to have to try and get past him. But he's got no ERS to play with pretty much. As Tigo is into the pits. Sasha and Jim Bob stay out. So Jim Bob, after 9 laps of running, has gone from P12 to P2. Obviously pit stops help. Warren's now in. Will Arsenal pit? Or will Smithy pit? Smithy will pit. Try and undercut the AI. That is very annoying, as Carbro is going to have to come up to the back of Callum. This is the second race in a row where Callum's been in AI, and I think there is going to be some warnings now, as Carbro does stay ahead of T2S4, but the gap is closer than 1.3 seconds. Could we really be seeing Carbro versus T2S4 for the win here? He's on hard compound tyres as well, so Matt has pitted for the medium, so he will be quicker. Here comes Smithy, as Crudevez does get back ahead of him, as Carbro gets past Arsenal. So that is good from him. What about Tigo? He's going to have to try and now make his move past. When will the top two pit? Josh up in the P8, in a bit of no man's land with a 5-second gap to the car in front and behind. He's also on a bit older mediums, so he'll probably be going for it again, as Tigo has already got past Arsenal. Good move there. Good opportunity. So now Matt's turn. It's like an obstacle. It is an obstacle pretty much. So 1.7. Jim Bob, I think, just dropping a bit off behind Sasha. So that's a good thing in my opinion. So they're not battling. But the current race leader who spun at the S's, clipping the white line and taking Crudevez with him, stays out as Warren gets another penalty. As he's looking in his mirrors, it's for Jim Bob, still 1.6 behind. He's looking in his mirrors again. He's using his ERS, heading down to turn 1. He's going to take these softs as long as possible, and Jim Bob's going to follow him. So Sasha McMillan, who started P2 on the grid, is battling Jim Bob, who's only a 1.8 behind, who was P12 on the grid. Carbro versus T2S4, 1 second now. He's got DRS somehow, because Amawal Matt now gets past Arsenal on the straight. That was good timing for the medium runner on the Haas. This is a very interesting race, because everyone started on the softs, and now look, it's a mix. I cannot remember a tier 2 race just like this where the championship's on the line, but we're seeing like a 2021 Hungary or something like that where people who fight for points or maybe top 5s, they're fighting for the win. Because Carbro is still within a pit stop. Because if Sasha McMillan pits, he'll come out right where Arsenal and Warren are, pretty much. They'll come out in between that. Maybe ahead of Arsenal. And they're going to have to make their way up. It is going to be a battle of overtaking today, due to that mistake from Sasha. I don't think he'll get penalised. It was an honest mistake. But we got a yellow. That's Warren. Oh, has he spun it? He's definitely spun there. That allows Josh now to get up into P7, but obviously due to penalties, I think he was going to get it anyway. But yep, that is a mistake from Warren as he's spun again. That is very dangerous, but he's now down in plumb last, P11, and out of the points. So Sasha McMillan is in. Jim Bob stays out. I was just going to watch Warren for a set to hopefully keep it in a straight line. This time, nope. He's just doing donuts at this rate. Come on, Warren. Right, he's got it back going. So we're going to watch now Sasha McMillan mediums. So this should hopefully be this one's only stop. There comes Amawal Matt. Flashing by the camera as Sasha McMillan is into P4. We got, is that Jim Bob? It is Jim Bob. Jim Bob has spun. Oh no, that is huge, because when he pits, he might come out. Oh, it's Tigo's now lost it. I thought I caught someone spinning. It's happening. Everything's happening at the moment. Arsenal's pitting. Tigo Vaya has spun from P2. That is really unfortunate for him, because he was looking like a potential. It was looking like a potential win if he could get with it in a second of carbo. We've got a yellow behind. That's Crew de Vase now. Hopefully he doesn't reset to track, because I think I did tell him. But yeah, luckily he hasn't. So good on him, but it's unfortunate. Another spin. These S sections are really catching people out. And now, probably the biggest question is, after that mistake from Jim Bob, he got spun right at the start. I don't know if it was because of another driver, but that was his own doing. Got a yellow now, that's James. Another spin. And still no safety car. Oh, it's Tigo and Sasha are battling now. Tigo and Josh, should I say. That's Josh up to P5 now. Tigo, oh yeah, Tigo with damage, so yeah. Josh up to P5 now. Right, here we go. There's another penalty. Josh, 20 seconds. This is going to be so close between the championship rivals, the championship protagonists, the two teammates. Jimbo puts the mediums on. Carbro has quite a good lead to Wild Matt, who's got Sasha right behind him. But here's Jim Bob. There is Josh. This is going to be close. This is going to be very close. There's Josh. There's Jim Bob. The two Aston Martins. Josh is ahead of his title rival. 8-point gap. And he's ahead. That was a bit close. 1 second between us. That spin has cost Jim Bob track position over his teammate. He could have been probably 4 seconds clear of his teammate. But yeah, after that spin, we're gonna see a battle. And this is going to be interesting. Sorry, Sasha did get mapped. So even after that mistake, he's capitalising on not giving up. And yeah, he's up to P2 and he's only 4 seconds off the lead. Less than that, he's gained 3 tenths right in there, 4 tenths right there. So, Clarkbro probably having the best race of his career at the moment, leading nearly halfway into the race, so it's good from him. Sasha McMillan P2, Wild Matt P3. 8 seconds behind is Josh, 1.2, clear of Jim Bob, who's going to be on quicker mediums. Josh might actually have to pit at the end, but if you can take those mediums, 23 laps, then that will be some accomplishment. Smithy in P6, he's spun. Crew de Vase, he's spun, probably more than once. Arsenal, probably still an AI. Tigobaya, who spun on the last lap, I think, and then had damage. James, who spun. Matt now with a 3 second. And Warren, who's spun countless times, I'm not even going to count. So everyone in this race has spun, I think, at one point. Josh kind of got forced into one. Matt, I don't think, has spun, so good on him. He might have. Legit. I think everyone might have spun at one point in this race, whether it was forceful or their own mistake. I have no idea. But we're going to focus our attention to probably the biggest point of the race. We've got a yellow. That's Warren again, isn't it? Jesus. I've seen reverse, but that was quick. He's going to get lapped at this rate. Because there's Carbro. There's Warren. But I really do not want to avert my attention anywhere but these two. It was half a second. Jim Bob's actually lost a bit of time here. However, it is quite an equal deficit now, with Josh being quicker here, but Jim Bob on the new tyres. It's going to make for a very interesting battle between these two. And we want to see it settled on track. We want to see it through battles. We do not want to see any controversy. If this does end in a spin or a crash, then it is going to be huge. The championship may get decided today. It is obviously quite EXFL fashion. That kind of stuff happens. Let's hope the cycle can be broken today. Halfway into this race now. Jim Bob around a second behind. 46% to Josh's 16. So Josh really struggling here. And Sasha is gaining. Obviously, Carbro on the hards. 8 points between these two. We're in the second last race of the championship. And Jim Bob is going to have ERS to play with, as is DRS, which is the more important thing. I think he's just a bit too far back on lap 14, but Josh really doesn't have anything to play with, and Jim Bob's trying to look for the move. Can't quite do it. We've got a yellow. I think it's around where James is, but I think it's cool. Right. Warren pits onto the softs. Everyone else on mediums and hard. Smithy and Carbro, the two hard runners. I'm so scared for what's going to happen between these two, because if it finishes like this, Josh will head into Brazil with a 10-point lead, meaning he would only need P3, pretty much. So it would pretty much be a 2016 Abu Dhabi, only needing P3. But you never know, because Matt does have that penalty. We'll switch to penalties. We know the tyre compounds for these guys now. So, Josh, 5.8 to Matt. So, if he can get on the podium after being taken out from Crew de Vase, that would be a great comeback from Josh. As that's wide for Jim Bob, and that's surely a penalty, surely a warning. One step closer to a penalty. I'll check warnings when we have a bit of breathing space. However, right now, we do not have any time to breathe, as Tigo Bayer has dropped down. I think he's been overtaken by Crew de Vase and Arsenal fan. But here we go. Jim Bob is so much closer. That's another warning, surely. He's so much closer to Josh. And if it can be done clean, here we go. The two title protagonists. And Jim Bob is going to sail past his teammate. You can call it anticlimactic, but we're just hoping it's clean and it's good racing. That was a good move from Jim Bob. It was the easiest opportunity he could do. He's up to P4. Josh could do nothing, and it was sensible from the World Championship leader, who's still trying to actually have a go at Jim Bob. He knows he can overtake through here, and he's going to try round the outside of his title rival. What a move from BCFC Josh on his title rival with 2 rounds to go. He's overtaken Jim Bob, who's nearly gone into the gravel. What a move from Josh. That was amazing. It was bold, it was brave, it was brilliant. Holy guacamole, that was amazing. So, Jim Bob will have to try again. This is what we want to see. The World Championship being decided like this. Thank you, Aston Martins. So, looking further front, even though they're battling, they're still gaining on Matt. I think one of the biggest awareness, one of the biggest pointers you have to keep in mind is obviously Josh's tyres. I'm not pointing away from this battle, I'm going to keep with them. Right. They both know their future. They both want to remain teammates after this season into Tier 1 Season 6. And through 130R, the two Aston Martins, Josh lets him go. He doesn't want to take any risks today, even if Joe closes the gap. As long as Josh leaves here, at least still with a bit of an advantage, he will be happy. But he gets the DRS at least. However, Jim Bob trailing some grass there, saying eat my dust. Josh just doesn't have anything to play with. He's got no ERS, he's got older tyres. Jim Bob, oh yeah, actually he's pretty much got none either, but yep, that was it. Josh, maybe it was tactical to let Jim Bob through to get DRS, but it has not worked. So, can Jim Bob get away this time? Or is Josh going to close in like he did last lap? We've got a yellow. That is Matt in front. He's spun. So now they're up to the podium, and it's a battle for the podium. Matt has spun. I was wondering, has everyone spun in this race? I'm not sure about Matt. Now I know my answer, because now they're up to P3 and P4. 10 seconds up the road is Sasha McMillan. The top 3 in the championship in the opposite order. We've seen that a lot of the time this season. Obviously in Abu Dhabi. This is brilliant stuff. Jim Bob versus Josh. And they're giving all the space necessary. Carbro could be getting a podium today. Could be getting a win. He's winning at the moment. 2 seconds to Sasha McMillan, who's on the mediums. Carbro is going to the end easily. But will Sasha McMillan wear his mediums out? This is a very interesting race for the win. But until he gets within a second, I'm not going to focus on them. We need to focus on this. We need to get every bit of action. We do not want to miss anything that these two drivers have to provide. Josh currently staying behind Jim Bob. He's going to have to try something to try and get ahead, but he has to pit, and if he pits, let's say it's 20 seconds, because it was about 20 seconds when he pitted. Perfect. What's the timing? He will come out, I think, just behind Crew de Vase, who's got that penalty, remember, and he's not going to be liking the sound of that. Soft tyres, 10 laps to go. Those tyres are going to be a bit worn towards the end, but yeah. Actually, Smithy and Crew... Oh, never mind. Crew de Vase is pitting. That is good timing for you. However, Smithy... Where's Josh? He's coming out the pit. Yeah, Smithy will get him. Right, so it will be P6 for the championship leader. His rival, his teammate, his protagonist duo is in P3. And he doesn't have to pit again. At least I don't think so. So yeah, P6, 8 points. P3, 15 points. The gap will be 1 point between them heading into the final round if things stay like this. But obviously Josh will probably get Smithy on the soft compound tire. Let's switch back to tyres. Yep, there we go. Smithy's got a penalty. So I think this is now a good time as Sasha McMillan is within a second of Carbo. So we'll quickly check the penalties. Or warnings at least. Right, warning. Yep, 2 warnings for Joe. 1 warning for Josh. Right, now that we've got that out of the way, Jim Bob needs to be careful here. No safety car still. But here we go. This is probably Sasha McMillan's first attempt at trying to get Carbo. 25%. Carbo's got nothing. So here we go. He's gaining a lot, and it's enough to go down the inside of Carbo. Carbo hits him a bit, but he goes wide, and Sasha McMillan's into the lead. I think that was clean, that was good enough, and it's enough for the lead of the race for Sasha McMillan. Once again, great comeback from him. As Arsenal, I think, is now back in control because he's got a penalty, and the AI would not do that. So, Carbo coming back at him. Sasha McMillan, the pressure. He spun with a McLaren directly behind him in the S's. So will that happen again as Josh does get past Smithy? And that was an easier move. Top 5 for the pole sitter. 9 seconds to Wild Matt. He has to gain, what, 6 because of Matt's penalty? Yeah, pretty much. 5, actually. Warren gets another penalty. That's 12 seconds now. So everyone will be scoring points but him at the moment. Unfortunately, he's been lapped. He's spun countless times. We're going to watch Carbo versus Sasha because the two at the top of the standings are now quite a distance away from each other. Honestly, if I was Jim Bob, I would have probably pitted the lap after. I don't know. It's to cover off Josh because, I don't know, if we have a safety car, then I think Jim Bob can pit. We have a yellow, just as soon as I say that. Arsenal. But yeah, Carbo doesn't seem too close at the moment. Still yellows out there because of Arsenal, but it's cleared now. He's got back running. Don't think he's got damage. That's not a good angle. Right. Yeah. Looks good as Sasha state that. Here's the camera angle as they swoop past turn 1 and 2. 8 laps remaining. Luckily, it's been a bit more of a clean Grand Prix for the top guys. So the 2 big incidents were the one with Sasha and Kruder. So if Sasha gets a penalty, I don't think he'll get a penalty. He spun and Kruder unfortunately got collected. I don't really think that's a penalty because Sasha made a mistake on his own and he got collected. That's all I'm going to sum up. As for the Kruder and Josh thing, it isn't Josh's fault. So yeah, no penalty. I don't think right now there'll be any post-race penalties. Right now, what you see is what you get. So at the moment, it looks like Jim Bob will be P3 and Josh will be P4 because he'll probably rather be within 3 seconds or even better overtake Matt. I don't think he's close. Yeah, if he can gain 17 seconds in 8 laps on Jim Bob, then who knows. But at the moment, Jim Bob will go from an 8-point gap behind to only 5 points within Josh, meaning if it's less than 7 points, whoever wins Brazil wins. It's winner takes all, pretty much, which is what we want to see. Well, what most people want to see. Unless you're a Josh supporter, then this has probably not been the greatest race for you. It was supposed to look like at least P2. Sasha had it covered, but he also spun, so you never know. So Sasha pulling the gap now, 1.5. So if he spins now, I don't think Carbo will collect him. But this has been a very valiant effort from Carbo. A great race from him. P2. He's been here and there in the league. He's entered some races. He's been near the back. Maybe some points. Oh my God. I hate. How? How does that happen? I've cursed. The commentator's curse has been acted again. As soon as I'm talking about Carbo and as soon as he spins another crucial turn in the championship because he has let EXFL Jim Bob through. He actually stopped to let him through. He's gone again. Carbo, all that work come undone. Don't reset to trap because then everything will become undone. This is going to allow Matt and this will potentially allow Josh onto the podium. But at the moment, it's another advantage to Jim Bob. I'm not like jumping about. I'm not screaming because I'm so sorry. Oh, we got a collision. Cruder Vase and Tigo Biter in. Jimbob's got a penalty. This is not over. It really isn't. Things could still happen, and if we get a safety car, Josh may just walk away from this smiling a bit more. So there was a collision between Cruder Vase and Tigo Biter as he gets a penalty. Right, so Warren P11, James P10, Arsenal P9, Tigo P8, Cruder P7, Smithy P6. Josh is in P5, 1.8 behind Carbro. Now I don't know if Carbro will pit because his tyres are pretty bad, but he's battling Matt. So does he pit? He stays out. Right, let's go to penalties. Right, so at the moment Josh will be P4 as Arsenal's left the session. There we go. Right, so 6 laps to go, or 7 if you include this one. BCFC Josh is looking at currently 4th place if he does not overtake Carbro, but it looks certain as Smithy's now into the wall as Arsenal's drawing back, luckily. Smithy now has spun, and still no safety car. Come on, Smithy, get it back on track. There we go. Right, oh my god. Right, big battle now coming up. Carbro trying to look to the inside of Matt. Jimbob looks to be in the... Oh, Smithy's spun again. He's going to return right where Cruder Vase and Tigo Biter are. Yeah, that should be fine. Right. Sasha McMillan, this time with 6 laps to go. I really don't want to curse anyone else. That timing was unbelievable, that cursing with Carbro. But Sasha McMillan, 6 laps to go. He really does look in control this time, and I know I've said that the past 2 races, but 3rd time is the charm for Sasha McMillan, and he's looking good. And 10-second lead to the one who, well, was the cause of his despair the past 2 races. This time he's proving he can win this race and win a race. Right, Carbro's now got a penalty. That solidifies P3 for Josh, and that means the gap will be 5 points. At the moment, Josh, who has been cautious this weekend, who has been not taking many risks besides that amazing overtake he did on his title rival, that was something else. That was an amazing move. But he does not need to risk too much. He's way too far behind Jimbob now to catch him, unless we have a safety car. But we have 5 laps remaining, so unless someone bins it, we don't know. But Josh, soft compound tyres to Carbro's hards, and he's cleared him. What a move, like, once again from BCFC Josh. That was a brilliant move, capitalising on Carbro going wide. Obviously his tyres are pretty much done, but that is P4, and it might even be P3. Is Josh going to send it? Nah, not quite, but it's P4 at least. Carbro nearly hit Josh then. It would have been McLaren gate if that happened, if both McLarens had a run-in with Josh. He's still staying with, and Jimbob for some reason is level with Sasha when clearly not, but right, Josh, he cannot afford to get a penalty now. He has 1 warning, I'm sure of it. So, as the clock strikes past 8 o'clock, free practice 1 for Miami will be ending in half an hour, so I'm going to end the stream a bit early just to make that practice 1 graphic, if that's alright. But we will have enough time, surely and easily, for this Japanese Grand Prix. Here we go. This should be probably one of the easier moves Josh has pulled off today, because Matt, I don't know actually. Matt is using his... Actually, never mind. This isn't an easy move, because he might still stay ahead. Josh trying to go round the outside, still doesn't have to take that risk, and he's proving it. So it's good from Josh, but it is going to be annoying him. He's just having to stay behind right now. If he can pull another move off at the S's, that would be brilliant. But he really does not need to take any risks. I'll say it time and time again, because he really doesn't. But now, here is an opportunity, but you'd be crazy. If you're leading the championship with 2 rounds to go, you know at this rate, you're going to get P3 anyway. But it's best to clear Matt at least now. No. So we'll wait until the straight once again. It's been a good race. I was looking forward to maybe a new podium place finisher of Carbro, who's been doing an excellent race until I literally think I cursed him this time. Cruder Vase had potential. McLaren are still going to walk away here with 5th and 6th, which is still really good. But it could have been so much more. I wouldn't take my eyes far off from Carbro. He's still staying with them. But yeah, 11 seconds now between Sasha and Jim Bob. Sasha's just seemed quicker than Joe at the moment, so that's fine. Arsenal, another penalty. We'll see how 7th to 11th is dealt out as Matt loses the rear end. Surely this time now, Josh has got enough within his Aston Martin. He's going to have to stay behind him once again to get better toe. And Matt is really pulling off a brilliant defence here to try and hold on to P3, even though he's not going to get it. Matt's going to look to the inside and he keeps ahead. Brilliant defending from Amawar of Matt, who knows he's not going to be on the podium if things stay like this. He's going to get P4. But if he pressures Josh into a mistake and he gets a penalty, then they're fighting for position as he runs at the back. Josh is really getting annoyed here. He's going to try round the outside or the inside, but now it's the outside and he's going to have to back off. Matt, but he switchbacks. Brilliant move from Josh, who's going to try and hold it round the outside of Matt. Matt stays behind. Brilliant move from Josh to capitalise on the switchback, and he's going to hold him off, but Matt really feisty on those mediums. He's really going to have to try and hold off Carbro now, but I think he should because they're all on compound tyres, hard, medium, soft. What an amazing overtaker this guy is. Josh really proving why he's been the cleanest and why he deserves this World Championship. He's driven like a champion today. He's driven like a champion all season. That move was amazing. The courage to go on the inside. He knew he was going to be on the outside, so he switched back. He even hit Matt at one point, but he got him. And he's got, I think, a big enough of a gap, but he's not got much ERS actually. But it's neither has Matt, who's run a bit wide there, and that's a warning. Right, so we don't have enough time for a safety car. I'm confident, unless this happens, that it'll stay how it is, but we got a yellow from Arsenal. Oh, Matt is coming back at Josh. He gets him. P3 is once again Amawar Matt, but Josh is going to try the switchback, and he loses the place to Carbro in while doing that. So he's still on for P3, but this is really crucial. 3 laps to go, and if things stay like this, Jim Bob will close it from an 8-point gap to a 5-point gap. However, Josh, you don't have to overtake them, if anything. I said this to Sasha in USA. You do not have to overtake Nathan or Joe. You will win. But he went for it because he's a racer. Now, what is Josh? Well, he's fighting for the World Championship, and he is going to, hopefully, in his mind, be the champion of this season. If he wants to get the move done, he can. He won't lose 3 seconds. And if I was in his shoes, I would stay behind. But obviously, things are different for everyone. Carbro is still in a fight. This is 4th position. Carbro versus Matt for P4. 20 seconds further back is Crude of Ace, but he's got a 6-second penalty. We've got a yellow. That's Warren again. There will be no VS. There will be no safety car. Now, lap 26, the penultimate lap for Sasha McMillan. Lap 28 has gone. It has been voided for this race because we're only going to have 27 laps. Jim Bob has done all he can. He's had a brilliant comeback from P12 to P2. That is where he will finish. I can 99% confirm that unless he spins. So it's been a brilliant charge, and he has beaten his title rival today, which is the most crucial thing. And we got a yellow, another Warren's out. If the game puts a safety car on with 1 lap pretty much to go, then it's crazy, but obviously not. So there will be 10 runners finishing. There will be 10-point scorers. It's a mad battle for P3 because Carbro and Amawar Matt are fighting for position with a 3-second penalty. If Josh gets a 3-second penalty, then that is a big moment. Carbro really giving Josh not much room there as he obliterates that corner. He's really trying to beat Matt. Matt has put up a great defence today. He's driven a great race. They've all spun at one point or another. Josh has kept his cool even after being taken out by Kruder. 18.9 seconds behind. He's gaining a lot. We're going to first fast forward to Sasha McMillan heading around the final couple of corners to start the final lap. Lap 27 as we got a yellow. I think that's Tigo. Yeah, but he's back in front. Right. Hopefully no more spins. Final lap of the race then for Sasha McMillan. Lap 27, number 21. This time it looks all in good. But Jim Bob has been gaining quite a lot in the recent laps. But here we go. A brilliant battle, a brilliant race. I very much enjoyed this one because I know there's not going to be a long night in front of me of stewarding. At least in controversial terms. It's the penultimate round. We don't know what's going to happen. If Josh gets a 3-second penalty on this lap, they will go into the final race level on points. If he doesn't get a 3-second penalty, he will be 5 points clear heading into the final round, which still means whoever wins Brazil will be the world champion. I'm sure of it, because it will be 5 points, and it can be 6, 7 or 8 with a win in second. So, Josh, you get a penalty, and that's probably your biggest mistake of the season. He can stay with them. He's really still trying to overtake. The pressure, the nerves of the people who are supporting him must be feeling. The pressure and nerves of Josh himself must be feeling. He's still going to try and go for it, but surely he'll have to stay behind. Carbro, who knows what he'll try and do. But looking further in front, third time really is the charm for Sasha McMillan. Had the win taken away from him in USA, had the win taken away from him in Abu Dhabi. He's been fearless, he's been resilient, and he's going to come around the final corner now to win in Japan. Sasha McMillan for Ferrari, full 25 points for him. Jim Bob will close it, and the title will go down to the wire in Brazil after a brilliant comeback for him. Looking further front, we've got a yellow, I think that's Callum Matigo or something. But looking further front, I'm a wild Matt. Heading into the final chicane, he has held off Carbro, and he will take P4. Carbro will come in P5, and Joshua Hewitt will be P3, and the title will go down to the wire. 5 points between Jim Bob and Josh. It's winner takes all in Brazil, but today Sasha McMillan gets justice, and he has won the Japanese Grand Prix. And rightly so, he deserves it. Who got the fastest lap? Josh! Ooh! Okay. Oh, that changes a few things. Okay, so we'll head into the final race with Josh having a 6-point lead. So this doesn't really change much, because if Joe wins and Josh gets second with fastest lap, that means they end the season level. However, they both have 4 victories, and Joe would get his 5th victory if that were to happen. So if Joe wins and Josh second with fastest lap, Joe is still the world champion, even if they're level on points. So yeah, pretty much. But 6 points. 4 wins apiece. Because if one of them finishes second and one of them finishes 4th, who knows. But the top 3 in the championship finished in the opposite order. That was a good race. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. No controversy this time, really. They came back and they're proving why they're at the top, and they're proving why they got promoted. Driver of the day rightfully goes to Jim Bob. However, Sasha McMillan put in a valiant effort to capitalise on his mistake and come back to take the win. It's his 2nd win in EXFL Tier 2, and thoroughly deserved. We've been waiting a while for Sasha to be back on the podium. Britain in round 9, and now with Japan in round 17 as he lifts the trophy. And the top 3 in the championship, all on the podium for I don't know how many times they've done that, but looks like Josh isn't too happy. But still a podium. Could have been P10 at one point. What a race! That was a really good race. Even if it had spin galore, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Well done, Tier 2. I mean, the racing, questionable sometimes, but obviously it's what we like to see see a lot of the time. Right, Sasha McMillan is your winner for today. EXFL Jim Bob from the back of the grid has come up to P2. So great valiant effort from him, and crucially he's finished ahead of Josh, and the title does go down to the wire. It's the closest gap we have seen in Tier 2 history of 6 points. Obviously it was 9 in Season 2 of Tier 2, and that finished with Will getting P5 and sealing it by a point. If Jim Bob wins in Brazil and Josh is second and someone else gets the fastest lap, again, it will be sealed by a point. But we will see what happens. Jim Bob's done everything he can today to get P2. Josh P3 with the fastest lap, crucially. That might come in handy. I'm Wild Matt, holds off Carbro for P4, and Carbro rounds out the top 5, with Kudave, Smithy, Tigo, James and Arsenal getting points too. Warren and Watch Client out of the points. And DNF. Wow. Obviously no interviews this time. They'll be brought back next week, obviously, to see who's the world champion. Hopefully the world champion will get decided then and there in Brazil, and we won't need post-race, I don't know, investigation. That's the word. What a race! What a championship finale we have set up. EXFL Jim Bob, BCFC Josh are going to give us. If they give us more of that, what we saw in the race between them, we're on for one of the best title finales you've ever seen. Thank you for watching. This has been the Japanese Grand Prix. Enjoy the Miami Grand Prix weekend, and we'll see you for the finale in 7 days' time. Wow.